husband there got the license plate number, and she got away. I had no evidence anymore.
All right, they got the license plate number of the lady that hit your car, and who had left the scene.
Excuse me, we just, now, Mr. Damo, you're very experienced lawyers, so it's your job to control the case.
We talked about you only answering after I finished my question, remember? So try to do that, sir. All right? So after the lady leaves, what do you do next?
I wanted to call police. I used my cell phone to call police.
All right. And while you're on your cell phone to call police, what happens?
As I was calling police, I didn't know somebody came from the back and hit my eyes there and broke the bones here according to the doctor.
All right. So you were assaulted from behind, while you were on the phone.
When I was calling police.
Did you know who hit you?
No at all. Up till now, I don't know.
After you were hit, did you fall to the ground or did you remain
I fell
standing?
down. Somebody picked up my glasses and gave to me. Then I drove out to my house, called the police. Ambulance came, police came.
Did the police ask you?
Excuse me, I didn't catch the last part of your answer, sir.
Yeah, yes, so he hit me. I couldn't see with that eye. I used one eye to drive to my house because I lived very close there. Drove to my house, called the police. Police came, brought ambulance. They took me to the hospital.
Thank you very much.
Did the police ask you about who assaulted you?
They asked me, I said I didn't know anybody. And I gave them the license plate of the lady. So they took the license plate and got the lady. By then I was in the hospital.
All right. Did they question you at the hospital about who assaulted you?
Pardon?
At the hospital, is that where the police questioned you regarding who assaulted you?
Right on the spot that I told them I didn't know anybody.
All right. Did you have a conversation with your son, Chimene Onyeri, about the assault?
No, rather, my children, all my children came. I didn't have any conversation about the assault.
I didn't have any conversation?
No, all my children came.
Came to the hospital?
Came to the hospital, yes.
All right. And did you tell your son, Chimene Onyeri, who assaulted you?
I didn't know who. Even the police didn't know. That's why they didn't make us arrest. Police asked me, I didn't know who. I can't describe the person. That's why they didn't make arrest up till now.
So the answer is no, you did not tell your son.
No.
Did you ever learn the identity of the person that assaulted you?
Pardon?
Do you know, to this day, do you know the name of the person that
I
assaulted
don't know name. I cannot recognize anybody. And that's why the police couldn't make arrest. Because the police officer came to the hospital to tell me that they couldn't make arrest because they don't know who.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Mr. Onyeri,
Yes.
you said you're a retired teacher, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you receive a pension for your retirement, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In addition to that, you also work as a security guard, correct?
I receive Social Security too.
Okay. And as security guard, where do you work?
I work with Texas Patrol on Southwest, Kirby, and Buffalo Speedway.
And how long have you been working there?
I've been working there for more than 1 year.
Okay. And do you work full-time for them?
I work full-time with them.
So you basically get 3 salaries. You get a retirement for being a teacher, correct? You have to say yes or no.
Yes, I get retirement.
Okay. You also get Social Security benefits,
Yes,
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Excuse me, sir. You're just a little quick to answer her. Let her finish her question all the way through and give just a very short pause before you answer. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
And in addition to those two salaries, you also receive a salary for working full-time as a security guard, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do any other dependents live with you? Any other children live with you?
My daughter used to live with me, but she's no more with me. Only Chimene.
Okay. And your daughters have both grown up, gone to college, and left the home, correct?
They are living by themselves.
Okay. Now, your son is not a student currently, is he?
Pardon?
Your son is not currently enrolled in any school, is he?
He has gone back to Lamar University, but they wanted him to come back in January.
Okay. Well, he hasn't been at Lamar University since 2008, 2009, correct?
No, she has not been there.
Okay.
She has not been.
So basically, for the last 5 or 6 years, has your son held down any job?
He has got no job. I take care of him.
Okay. And how old is your son?
In his 20s. I
He's-
can't quote exactly.
He's closer to 30 than he is 20, isn't he, sir?
He's in the 20s.
Okay. And he is perfectly capable of holding down a job, isn't he?
He's capable of holding.
Okay. And your son got in trouble in 2008, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And at that time, you made bond for him, correct?
yes,
And that was a $30,000 bond you made for him, correct?
yes,
After that case, he picked up additional cases, correct?
yes.
Okay. While he was on bond for that, in fact, he was arrested while he was in Austin, Texas, correct?
That's right. He was arrested in Austin with another boy.
Okay.
That was the case of the probation.
All right. So, in other words, he's out on a bond in Harris County, Texas. He goes to Austin and he gets arrested for another felony offense. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
but he was not.
And in addition to that, he also gets arrested in Sugar Land, correct?
Yes,
Okay. He gets arrested for both offenses while he's on bond, correct?
yes,
In addition to that, in I believe this summer, your son was arrested in Louisiana, was he not?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Your son was arrested for a felony offense in Louisiana while he was there gambling. Did you know that, sir?
I don't know about that.
Well, he lives with you, so if he leaves the house for a night, do you know?
When he leaves, I know.
Okay.
But he goes
And-
in and comes out. He
Oh.
goes out and comes in.
Okay, so if he's spending the night in the LaBerge Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana, that's something that you would be made aware of, right?
I don't know about that.
Okay, and if he's paying for hotel rooms in LaBerge in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where's he getting the money for that, sir?
Ma'am, I support this boy. I give him money.
Okay, do you give him money to go to stay in hotel rooms in Lake Charles, Louisiana?
No, I don't give him money for that.
Do you give him large amounts of money to go gamble in Louisiana with?
I don't know about that. I don't know about his gambling.
Okay.
But I give him money to sustain him.
Okay. Would you be surprised to know that in November of 2015, he had over $10,000 with him at the LaBerge Casino in Louisiana?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Would you have given him over $10,000 to go gamble with?
I don't know about that, but I do know one incident.
Sir, no. My question is this.
Excuse me just a moment, sir. She has the right to ask you questions, and you have to answer just the question that she asks. And then Mr. Adamo will get to ask you more questions if there's other information that needs to be provided. But right now, you have to answer just the question she asks. If it's a yes or no question, you should answer yes or no. If it's a question that calls for a narrative response, you can answer in a sentence or two. Thank you.
Sir, this past November, did you give your son over $10,000 to go gamble with in Louisiana?
No.
So if he had that money to go gamble in Louisiana, he is getting income from a source that you don't know about, correct?
He was involved in a car accident, they said that the only income I can say about.
When was he involved in a car accident?
I can't remember the time, but I know I took him to therapy and he was paid.
Okay. What car was he in when he was in the accident?
The car I bought for him,
What car is that?
Toyota.
Toyota Camry. And when were you taking him to therapy?
I can't remember the date, but I know. I showed him, I took him to therapy.
What time of year was it? Maybe not the particular date,
He
but
goes-
tell me the,
He goes to
Let her
therapy.
finish the question.
can you tell me the time of year? Was it winter, summer, spring, fall? Can you give me a season when it was that you were taking him to therapy?
I was not taking him to therapy every day, but I took him to therapy, registered him there. He goes on his own. That was a few months ago, a couple of months ago. I can't go to the date.
Okay. What were his injuries?
I wasn't in the car with him, but he only came home to tell me he was involved in an accident. I took him to Potpourri, to a therapist there, registered him.
Well, sir, if you live with him and you support him and you take him to therapy, you really want me to believe that you didn't know what was wrong with your son?
What I mean is I take him to therapy to register him there. He goes on his own. It's not a baby that I should be taking him everywhere.
Okay, well, was he limping?
Pardon?
Was he limping before you took him to therapy?
No, because I know the therapist well, because you know.
Was he holding his neck?
Well, I cannot care about, he knew what injury he had, and he told the therapist. I only introduced him to the therapist because I've known the therapist for years.
What therapy place was it?
On fund injury rehab.
Injury rehab?
Injury rehab on fund,
Where on Padre?
Southwest River on fund.
What are the cross streets?
Before the fiesta, it's injury rehab. That's the name of it.
Okay.
Injury rehab.
And because he's not in school in his age, my guess is he's not covered on your insurance anymore. Who's paying for him to go to this therapy?
Say it again.
Because of his age, he can't be on your insurance anymore, and he's not a student, or he's not employed, so my guess is he doesn't have any insurance, so who was paying for this therapy?
The therapy, the accident, the lady who had accident with him had insurance. Her insurance covered, took care of it.
What was the lady's name that he got into the
I
accident
can't
with?
remember.
Let her finish your question before you answer. Ask your question again, please.
What was the lady's name that he got into the accident with?
I don't know the lady's name. He only told me he had an accident. I took him to the rehab.
What was the name of the insurance company that paid for his therapy?
He's of age. I didn't want to know that. I only introduced him to the therapist.
What was the damage done to the car?
The front, I know. The front side of the car.
What was wrong with the front side of the car?
The car was damaged. Even as it is now, they're not completely.
I'm sorry, as it is now, what?
As it is now, that car still has that, the
Injury.
dent. Yeah.
Okay, so the insurance company pays for his therapy, but they don't pay for the car to get fixed?
They give him money.
Okay, how much money do they give him?
I don't know, he's of age. My only thing is, I took him to the therapist and he got money from there.
Okay, and where does he bank? Where does your son bank?
It's fine.
Bank, like, people have checking accounts, people have savings accounts. Where does your?
I know he used to bank with chess, but
Check.
he's of age. I don't have to control his banking.
Well, you control all of his money. According to you, you give him all of his money, so that's why I'm asking the question.
Yes, ma'am. If I give him money, I don't have to tell him where to deposit the money or spend it.
How much money a week, a month do you give your son?
Every 2 weeks. Every week I give him $200.
Okay, so basically, $800 a month is what you give your son.
Every 2 weeks I give him $200. A month, $400.
So you give him $400 a month, okay?
Or more, depending on his needs.
Okay.
It's not mathematically calculated. It
Now-
depends on his needs.
Who is paying for him to go to Austin when he gets arrested in Austin?
Yes, the car.
Okay? And while he's, so in Austin, your son pled guilty to that case, correct?
No, he wouldn't have been on probation. The guy who was with him.
Sir, no, no. I get to ask you yes or no questions, okay? And that was what my question was. Yes or no, your son pled guilty to the offense in Austin.
He pled guilty, they should have given him probation. He was not
Okay.
directly involved.
Sir, I'm gonna ask it again.
Sir, listen carefully to the question asked and answer just that question. Thank you.
Did your son plead guilty to the crime in Austin?
No,
Sir, are you aware that in order to be placed on probation, you must enter a plea of guilty?
well, I don't know about that, but he was on probation.
Okay? And if somebody's on probation, that means either they're not contesting the charge or they've pled guilty to the charge. Okay?
Okay, you work in the court, you tell me that.
And when you're on probation, you would agree with me that you are agreeing to live up to certain terms and conditions that the judge gives you.
Mhm.
Okay? And if you do not do what you are supposed to do, you may go back to jail, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, your son can read and write, correct?
You can read and write.
Okay. And he's smart enough to understand the rules and conditions of probation, correct?
He should.
Should, yes. Now, while he was on this probation, he picked up a felony offense in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Were you aware of that, sir?
I don't know about that.
Who made his bond in Lake Charles, Louisiana when he was arrested?
Pardon?
Who made your son's bond when he was arrested?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I didn't.
So if somebody else made his bond, he clearly has other sources of income that you are not aware of, sir. Is that correct?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Somebody else made his bond that you don't know about it, you would agree with me that he has other sources of income that you are not aware.
I don't know about that.
And he gets arrested in Louisiana, he makes bond. Then he has to get another bond for his motion to adjudicate in Austin, correct?
I don't know about all this you're saying.
Right.
It is nothing.
And if he made that bond for the case that he's on probation when they filed a motion to adjudicate, who made that bond for him?
About Louisiana?
No, we're talking about Travis County, Austin. He's on probation. They filed a motion to get him off probation because he's violated that probation. Who made that bond?
I didn't know.
Okay.
That of Austin.
Okay, how much was that bond?
I think I paid about 2,000 because I was charged more.
I was charged more.
I was charged more because it happened outside the Harris County here. But I
Okay.
can't remember exactly how much I paid, but I intended a bond for you.
Okay. So yet again, you make another felony bond for your son, correct?
Where?
correct?
I don't understand it.
Well, you've already testified that you've made a bond for him before, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're making another felony bond, paying another felony bond for your son, correct?
Yes,
And he hired a lawyer in that case, correct?
yes, of course.
Who paid for the lawyer in that case?
I paid for lawyer.
Okay, let's you pay for the lawyer,
I can't remember.
okay? And he had more than one lawyer in Travis County, correct?
Pardon?
He hired more than one lawyer in Travis County.
Yes, yes.
Okay, how many lawyers did you hire for your son in Travis County?
1, 2, 3.
3 different lawyers. And
Yes, of course.
each time you were able to come up with the resources to pay yet another lawyer, correct?
I paid for all.
Okay, and how much in total were the 3 lawyers that you hired for your son in Travis County?
I don't want to make a mistake. I don't know how much, but I paid the lawyers.
Okay. Did you hire him a lawyer for his case in Lake Charles, Louisiana as well?
No, I don't know about that case as you are talking now.
Okay. And if I were to tell you it was a $30,000 bond that he made in Louisiana, would you have any idea who or how he made that bond?
I don't know about that case. I can't answer any question about Louisiana.
Okay, so clearly your son's able to leave your home for days at a time without you knowing where he is or what he's doing, correct?
He is of age, he goes in and comes out.
Okay.
He comes in and goes out.
And he doesn't always sleep in your home, does he?
He sleeps in, no, he sleeps in my house.
Okay. He goes to Louisiana to gamble a lot, doesn't he, sir?
I don't know about that.
So if he goes to Louisiana to gamble quite frequently, those nights he's not sleeping in your home, is he?
But remember, he's of age, and sometimes I come in. I see him, he walks out with his friends.
Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not, correct?
No, he goes out and comes in.
Does he check in with you and tell you where he's going?
I don't have to check an old person at that age, but I do control him. Making sure.
You control him?
I do tell him, go out, make sure you come in on time.
Okay.
Don't come out late.
Well, were you controlling him when he picked up his felony case in Austin? That he's on probation for as we speak. Did you control him then?
Ma'am, I've been doing the job of a father, advising him and doing my best to control him.
Okay, so in other words, like most parent-child relationships, sometimes your child listens to you and sometimes they do not. Is that correct?
But he listens to me, but sometimes when the child listens to you, he goes out to do a different thing.
I'm sorry, he goes out what?
You tell a child something of age, tell him, don't do this and don't do that. If he goes out, you don't have control at all.
Thank you.
So what days of the week do you work as a security patrol?
I work Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
3 nights a week?
3 nights sometimes, they need me to make up the 40 hours, they call me, I go on call.
Okay, but for sure you work Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, on November the 5th, I guess you wouldn't have been working that night, correct?
I can't remember what date in November the 5th.
Okay. Well, November the 5th is a Thursday night. Would you agree with me if I told you November 5th was a Thursday night?
I didn't work there.
Okay, and Thursday nights you don't work typically. So what did you do that evening?
I'm an adult, I cannot.
I'm sorry?
I cannot say what I did. What do you mean there?
Well, did you see your son
I
that
saw
day?
him. That's a direct question. I saw him.
What time during the day did you see your son on the 5th?
Mom, I see him go out and come in. I cannot record 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Okay,
That's my son who lives with me.
Oh.
He goes out and comes in. I cannot record time.
okay, November the 5th. Was he at your home when you went to bed that night?
November the 5th.
Yes.
Chimene has always been with me there.
No, sir.
And he goes
No.
out and comes in.
I'm going to ask you a very specific question. Please try and answer just my question as specifically as you can. On November the 5th of 2015, was your son at your home when you went to bed that night? Yes or no?
He was.
Okay? And do you recall seeing him before you went to bed?
Yes, of course.
Okay? And about what time of night do you typically go to bed if you're not working?
My job as a security starts at 9 o'clock. Other days I don't work as security guard. I stay in the house.
Okay, okay, I understand that. November the 5th is a Thursday, and you say typically you don't work on Thursday. So my question is, when you're not working, like on November the 5th of 2015, what time do you go to bed?
I stay in the house.
Okay, let me ask again, what time do you go to bed?
What time do I go out?
Go to bed, go to sleep.
I don't have the recorded time. Sometimes I might be watching TV. But by the way, it's difficult to go to bed every 9 o'clock. I have valid time, depending on situations.
Okay, November the 5th of 2015, do you recall the last time that you saw your son on that particular date?
What do you mean?
November the 5th, Thursday, November the 5th of 2015, do you recall the last time that you saw your son on that day?
I saw him in the night. I saw him in the day. I saw him in the morning. But he goes out and comes in. He's not staying in the house.
On November the 6th of 2015, you said you worked that night, correct?
Was it a Friday?
Yes, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you left your house about 8:30 p.m.
8:30 p.m.
All right. And you said your son was there with some of his friends, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which friends was he there with?
I don't know their friends. He's of age. I only see them and greet them and go my way.
His friends that are inside your home, you don't know who's inside your home?
I see them and greet them and go my way. He's of age. I don't know their names sometimes. They come in and say, how are you doing, Dr. Onyeri? I say, it's okay. I just go my way.
You don't find out who's in your home, their
Who they
names?
are? No. I know them as Chimene's friends.
Okay. So you don't know anything about him either, do you?
Anything about one?
His friends, you don't know anything about him?
I see his friends. I don't go into detail asking them, who are you? What are you? What do you do? I see them as Chimene's friends. They come in and greet me, stay with him, and walk out. He is an adult.
And when you got back at 5 a.m. on, I guess it would be now November the 7th,
Yes.
where was your son?
My son was in the house.
Okay. And what cars were parked at your house when you got home on November the 7th?
Say that again.
What cars were parked at your home when you came home on November the 7th? Would have been Saturday morning.
I have 2 cars. His own is 3. My brother has 1. I don't normally count cars parking around. I just park in, come out and go in.
Okay, well, you said only you and your son lived there.
We live there, but then there are cars. We live there with many Mexicans. People park their cars. We don't control cars.
Well,
Some
people
park,
don't park their cars in your driveway that don't live at your
they
home.
don't park at my driveway, but they park along the street there.
Okay. Were there any cars parked in your driveway on November the 7th of 2015 when you came home from work?
No car except my car.
On May the 17th, when you got in the car accident and then you got assaulted, was your son at home when you went home?
When I reached home, they were not there. When I reached home, later on, they were, They were not there when I reached home, but my brother called them, so they came back to the house
Okay.
and met me in the hospital.
Okay, who came back to the house?
My daughter,
And who else?
Chimene,
Anybody else?
my brother,
Okay, so it would have just been family.
my family.
Okay, which daughter came to the house?
Which daughter?
Yes.
Erima is not here now.
Can you
Excuse
spell
me?
her name for me?
Erima, E-R-I-M-A.
So your other daughter came to the house?
Yeah, they took me to the hospital.
Okay, which daughter is that? Which daughter took you to the hospital?
Yeah.
What's her name? What is the name of your daughter that went to the hospital?
Erima, E-R-I-M-A, Erima.
Okay. You have another daughter as well, don't you, sir?
That one is very
Excuse me,
dramatic.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I think we're getting a little outside the bounds of a writ for bond. I don't know what learning all about his family names has to do with a bond for Mr. Chimene.
Thank you, that's overruled.
What's your other daughter's name?
Stella Onyeri.
Where is Stella?
Stella is an adult living by herself. Erima is not living by herself. I have grown-up children.
Okay. Okay, telephone bill. Would that be a cell phone bill?
Man, maybe I take care of his responsibilities. I'm not here to enumerate the way I feel.
Sir, do you pay his cell phone bill?
I pay that and pay all other things. All
How
about
much?
his responsibility.
Do you call your, how did you notify your son that day that you were hurt?
Say it again.
Well, when you got hurt, you said your son's cell phone number was called. If you don't know it, how do you call it?
I didn't say that. When I got into trouble, I came home, Erima, my brother, all of them, they came. So they took me, I was unconscious, they took me to the hospital. They all came to the hospital.
Someone had to call your son, correct? To let him know that you were hurt.
I don't know who called him, I was unconscious, my brother was there.
Does your brother know your son's cell phone number?
You should know.
Do you know?
And Erima was there too, she should know.
Okay.
And the position in which I was, I couldn't even call anyone. I want you to understand that, please.
Well, you take care of your son, you pay his bills, you say you control him, but you can't tell me his cell phone number?
Say it again.
You say you pay for your son, he lives with you, you control him, but you can't even tell me the man's
I
cell phone
cannot
number?
tell you the telephone number here now, but I have every telephone number on my phone.
Okay.
When
Does
I
your
want to
son,
call my daughter, I dial, get it, because I can't memorize that. When I
Okay.
want to dial him, I check his name. When I want to dial John, I check his name.
okay, how many cell phones does your son have?
I only pay for one.
Okay, so if he has other cell phones, he finds another way to pay for that, correct? If he has more than one cell phone, he's finding another source of income to pay for that phone, correct?
Because I take care of everything. If he has another telephone, he will ask me for money, offering that, even if he has 20. I take total care of my son.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that he got money for an accident that he was in. How much money did he get?
I didn't know, I don't even want to know. I give him money. He
Okay.
spends anyhow he likes. I take care of him now.
Okay, I understand that, sir, but the
He's not a
judge,
teenager.
but the judge has to make a determination about bond and ability to pay. So him getting a settlement is relevant to that, sir. So my question to you again is, how much money did he get and when did he get it?
How much money did he get when?
From the insurance company for his
I
accident?
don't know. You only told me that they will pay us. But I didn't know how much.
Okay.
He is an adult, ma'am. I don't need to probe into details.
So he has income sources that you know nothing about, correct?
Of course, I don't know. He's not working. I give him money. Something like insurance, like when they pay him, he takes it. It's an adult. I don't know how much he was paid.
Thank you, sir. Wait for the next question, please.
Did you see your son when you saw him on November 5th and 6th? Did he have his phone? When you saw your son on November the 5th and November the 6th of 2015, did he have his phone with him?
Whether he has his phone?
Did you see him with his phone on those 2 days when you
Do I
saw
have
him?
to see his phone if he puts his phone in the pocket? And it's not a big, you see me with my phone, ma'am?
I
Sir,
asked.
excuse me, that was a yes or no question. Please answer
No.
yes or no.
I don't know, I can't answer that. Because I was not looking for his phone.
Whenever you call your son, does he always answer his cell phone when you call it?
When I call him, he answers.
I'll pass the witness.
Thank you.
Yeah, proceed, Your Honor.
Ready?
The,
Excuse me, we'll take a break at 11. We're not finished with the witness right now.
the auto accident, was your son, Chimene, did he suffer any broken bones out of that accident?
You mean the accident, his own accident or mine?
His accident, that he got the settlement on?
He didn't take off the big broken bone.
So he had soft tissue injury, right?
Yes.
And the car, from what I'm hearing, was drivable in spite of the damage it suffered in the
Yes,
accident.
yes, sir.
So the actual property damage to the car was minimal.
Was minimum, what counted with therapy?
So that doesn't sound like the type of case someone's going to get a big financial settlement from, does it?
I'm going to object speculation on this witness's part.
Just a minute. Wait for the next, when the lawyer stands up on an objection, you need to let me rule, and then you'll either be asked the same question again or a different question. So if somebody stands up and objects, then it's resolved. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, your injuries occurred on May the 17th, 2015, from that auto accident incident, correct?
Yes, yes.
Were you aware that the person who allegedly hit you was shot and killed on May the 18th, the next day?
I don't know about that.
Now, the prosecutor has been trying to get you to remember specific days that, months ago, in particular, November the 5th, 2015, and trying to get you to remember that specific day and what you did on that specific day. Do you have a actual memory of that day?
Apart from the questions I'm answering now, I doubt whether somebody can remember what happened.
All right, I've got to slow you down. I can't understand you.
What I mean is, that specific day.
That's what?
The specific day they are talking about, it's difficult to remember all details.
So-
As human beings.
You're assuming your son was home, but you don't
Yes, of course.
specifically remember.
I can't remember any other thing other than my son was at home.
But you do recall on the 6th that he was there with his friends in your house.
Yes.
The day that you left, that was the Friday that you left for work at 8:30.
Yes. I normally see him with his friends. I do.
Now, prosecutor talked to you about several bond cases that your son was involved in over the years. Did he make his court appearances in those bond cases?
He made, and he was set free in most of those cases.
And you're aware that the judge, as far as controlling your son, the judge could order an ankle monitor where he would, in home confinement, where they would know where he is at all times. Are you familiar with that? An ankle monitor?
No.
There was talk about your monthly income based on retirement, Social Security, and your part-time job as security. What do you make a month, sir?
I make approximately 4,000, between 3,000 and 4,000.
It sounds like that any savings you had was somewhat depleted by hiring lawyers for Chimene in the past. Do you have any savings left?
Yes, of course.
What do you have in savings?
Now,
Yes, sir.
well, as a retired person, I was paid $65,000, but I have missed most of that off. But at least now, I have enough savings. But is it good to be clear how much I have in the bank?
Yes, sir. How much do you have in savings?
In the savings, I have up to 20,000.
You have up to 20,000
Yes, in CD. I can't touch it.
in CDs.
Yes, sir.
How old are you, sir?
Pardon?
How old are you?
How old?
How old?
How old?
Yes, sir. What's your age?
Oh, okay, I'm 72. I know everybody would be that about that. I am 72, that's my nature.
And I'm assuming you are not prepared to spend all of your life remaining savings to post bail for your son. You're not able to do that, are you?
If posting bond for him is what I can afford, I'll go for it.
You'll do what you can afford.
I do what I can afford.
Can you afford to surrender all of your life savings?
For the bond,
Yes, sir.
as far as my son is concerned, I will.
You say your CD is not touchable. Why not?
It's placed there for some months, 6 months, you know, see, maybe there 6 months. Either you knew it or you put it out.
So if you cash your CD, you would lose your penalty to it. There would be a
Yes, of course,
penalty.
you lose interest.
When do they mature?
It's probably March.
I'm sorry, what?
March.
March?
March.
The prosecutor mentioned a $30,000 bond on the Louisiana case. Do you know if there was a $30,000 bond set there or a $7,500 bond?
I don't know anything about Louisiana case. Please.
All right, thank you. I'll pass it with you.
One question. Mr. Onyeri, you said you had up to $20,000 in your savings account. How much is in your checking account?
Um, 1,200 chairs, 1,350 or whatever in another bank. Then that's all. The security direct deposit. I mean, the social security direct deposit and the retirement direct deposit in different banks.
Okay. How many different banks do you have checking accounts in?
I have checking in chairs. I don't have savings, to be honest. I have checkings in all, but the CJ, as you understood, was keeping money aside without touching it for some months. I have all checking accounts with chairs, community trust,
Community trust.
and Whitney. Whitney Bank.
You mentioned amounts in 2 accounts. You said 1,200 and some change, and you said 1,350 Well, what's the,
Direct deposits.
okay, let's make sure that you get the question completely clear. I don't want to confuse you. You mentioned 3 checking accounts here as you testified, correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I want to know how much money you have in each checking account. So let's start with Chase.
Chase, I have direct deposit there from my social security, 1,000 plus. It's difficult to be exact. With me, I have direct deposit there. They deposit from me 1,000 plus every time.
What is your balance in your checking account, sir? I don't think that we're communicating.
I can't say I don't know my balance in checking account unless I want to go and withdraw money.
Okay. The third account, what's your balance in the third account?
The third one,
Yes.
the third one, I can't quote exactly, but in each bank, I have not less than $1,000 to deposit for me.
Okay, so you have at least $3,000 in checking. It could be more, but you have no idea.
It could be more, it could be less.
You said at least $1,000 in each account, so 3 accounts, that would be at least $3,000, correct?
Of course.
I'll
But
pass the witness.
But not more than $1,000.
not more than that.
So you're not saying, and there's no way, you don't have 20,000 in those accounts, you don't have large sums of money in those accounts.
No.
All right. No further questions.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Onyeri, do you own your home?
No, ma'am, I rent.
Do you own any property?
No, ma'am.
Does your son own any property?
No, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Anything further?
Adrian West?
I'm sorry, what's your next witness?
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
we'll take a 15-minute break so we can resolve some docket matters. Court stands in recess until 10 after 11.
Discussion.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Judge, I'll do that right